When I say Bayway, you say motherfucker Bayway. Motherfucker Bayway. Motherfucker Bayway.
Conditioned by indoctrination, conditioned by society. You're a victim of the digital age, a 21st century casualty. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Conditioned by misinformation, it's just the media telling us lies. Decipher fiction from the truth, society's slow and tragic demise. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Everyone's got their fucking opinion.
What's up? There's a lot of crazy shit going on in the world, mostly set off by this heat. So the show's acting weird. The world's acting weird. Yesterday was the hottest day in New York City in 13 years. Second hottest day in New York City in the past 2 decades. So, Bayway, motherfuckers. All right? You know what I'm saying? Fuck all that. Bayway, motherfuckers. All right? Good to see. Hey, Bill Putman, what's up? Scott Kajewski, my man. Brian Mattson. Good. The gang's all here. Looking forward to... you know what I wanted to start today's show with? I thought about this. So I had a rough day yesterday. It was rough. I was out there. It was like a nuclear holocaust out there yesterday. Seriously. And like, I was dealing with it. My car died. I was I was out. It was like Chernobyl. But I was thinking about, I just want to thank everybody, all the patrons out there that support this show. Special thanks today to all of you that have supported this show through the years, and joined Patreon, and you're a patron. You're the biggest reason why this show is able to keep doing what we're doing. So I want to personally thank you. Speaking of personally thanking, what's up, Lori Dawn?
Bayway, motherfuckers. Can't wait. It's going to be a good one today.
Yeah. What's going on? Is it hot out in Long Island?
It is hotter than hell out there. Yeah.
Hotter than hell.
Yeah, it's disrespectful, really. Disrespectful out there. So my air conditioner broke in my car. So had to drive home.
So did mine.
Yeah. Had to drive home 4 hours across Connecticut Sunday night. 88 degrees.
There's just like that temperature where it goes 1 degree up and everything goes haywire.
Yeah. No, it's true, because when it dipped at like 84, I was fine. 85, I was dying.
Ray Hogan says tomorrow will be more moderate.
Yeah,
what are you, motherfucking Al Roker? Fucking. Hey, what's Wednesday looking like, Ray Hogan?
It will be more moderate.
It'll be much more moderate. The overcast skies will be much more moderate. Hey, Al Roker, the fuck, Don't you come on here trying to predict the weather. You know what? Everybody's excited about this weekend.
Yeah, I can't wait for this. My air conditioner will be ready to drive up to Boston on Saturday for this banger of a show. We got Tree, Miracle Blood, Incendiary Device, Scambari, and Mollusk. Mollusk is a 2-man metal band I checked out earlier today. It was pretty good. It's pretty good. You're going to want to get there early. So, yeah.
And this is on this is my birthday.
Yeah, birthday show.
I'm going to do something outrageous.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
I don't know, Pull my dick out and puke on everybody. I don't know. Woo!
Just like a Gigi Allen.
Yeah. You know what? What do you think? Should I puke on everybody or should I?
We never know what's going to happen. But no, actually, all these bands, this is a heavy bill. This is a pretty heavy bill.
Yeah.
So, I checked out Miracle Blood too. I never heard them before. So it's going to be a fun show.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
Scambari is like a favorite up here. They're really, really fun bands.
Is that right?
And actually, a little tidbit, that orange amp back there, Ian, the drummer, helped me lift that up into my car. So I'm borrowing that from Larry, and Larry's like, "Oh, I'm going to set it down with Alan, with Ian, blah 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 blah." So he pulls it out of the car, and I'm like, "Okay, let me go get it." He's like, "No, let me lift this for you." And I got like all insulted, like, "What do you think? I'm a little woman? I can't lift my own amp?" And I went to go pull it, and it like didn't budge off the ground, even like an inch. Like not even an inch. I was like, "Yeah, okay, like lift that up into my car for me, thanks."
Does anybody else have any other predictions? Maybe the weather or, Yeah, it's a nice venue.
Yeah.
Brighton Music Hall.
Yeah, it is nice. It's nice. I like the layout of it.
Yeah, they told us we have a 4-person guest list, which we thought was pretty funny.
Oh, wow.
You want to put a 0 behind the 4 and then we can talk? It's like, I'm coming up to Boston on my birthday.
Yeah.
It's going to be a couple more. It's going to be a couple more than 4 there, Mr.
Well, who's asking to get on the guest list on your birthday? Come on. It's your birthday.
Tristan's inviting like 300 people of his fucking family.
Oh, right. Okay, I gotcha.
It's like, bro, come on, man. Fucking invite. Who the fuck invites their family to that? You know, I don't want you.
It's gonna I like Steven's comments. Lori is strong like bull. No, I'm like strong like chipmunk. Yeah, no, it's gonna be fun. Everybody from New York is coming up to Boston. Everybody. We got Cindy coming up. We got Elisa coming up. All the women of the pit coming up. Rich.
Finley Hunt says Mamdini will be our next mayor. I think you're tuning into the wrong show, my friend, because this is the show that doesn't give a flying fuck about politics or who you're voting for. So you might want to turn the dial. How's that? You know, it's the heat. I hate everybody. I hate everybody, and that means you.
We're very cranky today.
Oh, how about that? That's right. I'm running for mayor. Ha ha ha. Just kidding. I'm actually running for mayor. Vote for me. I'm standing on, Justin Brannon didn't get in either.
That's a shame.
Listen, I'm voting on this is my platform. 40-person guest list for every punk and hardcore show. What else? Donuts. Donuts for everybody.
Donuts for everyone. Every American gets a donut. A donut on every table. Just like a chicken in every pot.
How was the donut meetup?
The donut meetup was incredible. We gave out 144 donuts.
Wow.
So we were at Camp Punk this weekend, Women of the Pit. We had a donut meetup. We gave out 144 donuts to men, women, and children. So we also gave away 60 cooling towels. So it was a really, really nice way to meet a bunch of campers.
What where did said donuts come from?
Said donuts came from an Amish bakery.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm not really sure where this magical Amish bakery was, or even how they cook donuts without electricity. But they were delicious.
I think it's like the Flintstones. Like they got some kind of animal on a treadmill and
we did this. We did this with World of Chaos band, who's going to be playing our holiday slamboree in December. Mm-hmm. And Gabe's mom, Gabe's the guitarist.
Right.
Gabe is only 13, so that's why he's accompanied by his mom everywhere he plays. So she arranged for these Amish donuts to be brought to us by her husband, and they were baked that morning, and they were delicious.
Yummy.
Yeah.
I'd fuck with Amish donuts.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah. All right.
They were good.
Oh, everybody, a big thanks to everybody that came down to Bowery Electric on Sunday for the Free All Ages Sunday matinee. Shouting out our brothers from our brother band from California, Channel 3, who take care of Incendiary Device every time we go out there. And then when they come here, we take care of them. So Channel 3 was great. I think it's like the best I've ever seen them.
They were good at Camp Punk too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was on the Amish use solar power. All right, fair enough.
Okay.
All right.
There you go.
Anybody you want to thank? Anybody you want to shout out?
So I would just like to shout out my donut crew team of Cindy, Mimi, Elisa, Brooke. All my ladies helping out this weekend. And we'll all be there this weekend. So can't wait. It's going to be a good time.
I'll see you in a couple days up in New England.
That's right.
On my birthday.
It's going to be fun.
Woo!
It might be cake. Who knows?
God, enough. Just leave me alone with enough with the wedding.
No, you just lost all that weight. We want to fuck that up for you.
Yeah, right. All right. When and where are you playing? Finn, we are playing. Incendiary Device is playing with Tree at the Brighton Music Hall up in Boston this Saturday. Tree, Miracle Blood, Incendiary Device, Scumbari, and Mollusk, hosted by Tommy O'Deed. Be there. Hey,
Right.
speaking of being there,
Hey, there she
Woo!
is.
It's a party now.
Here we go.
All right, let me get going. I gotta get.
Okay, motherfuckers. I'm out.
See you later.
All right.
There you have it. This is the one, the only, sweltering in the heat. The New York. You know what? This is the first show I'm doing. I hope you don't hear the air conditioner in the background and the shades are drawn. It's very. I usually turn the air conditioner off and open the shades. But being that it's 300 degrees out, that's not happening. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. We are sponsored by the Texas Silver Rush, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Generation Records, 126 Hardcore Clothing, Women of the Pit, Candle Witch Co., and Mad Vintage. Mad Vintage buys, sells, and collects band shirts, primarily hardcore. The DIY operation was started and is operated by a hardcore kid who just loves collecting and eventually got into vintage clothing, specifically the realm of vintage band shirts. They're always looking to buy out collections to either keep, sell, or trade new shirts out of daily at www.madvintage.com and post it on Instagram. Dig deep into that closet of crap. Reach out to them. Help me help you, Mad Vintage. That said, let's clear the deck. Let's make sure everybody's okay. Hey, listen, bro. New York City Dom says, hey, Drew, let me be the first to say Bayway, bro, you're far from the first, dude. You're about the 15th. That said, let's bring our guest on who's been patiently waiting. Let me clear the deck here. I'm sorry, I'm suffering from heat stroke, so bear with me today. Today's guest is a musician, producer, and label owner hailing from the Garden State of New Jersey. For the past few years, he's been at the helm of the powerhouse band known as Bayway. Motherfuckers, please welcome, coming at us from the 908, New Jersey's staunch representative, Jayway. Hey, bro.
What a fucking intro. What an intro. I mean, yeah, hey, listen, I don't care what they say about you. I'm not believing it anymore. That's it.
All right, good.
That intro, it's over.
Right. There you go.
Thank you very, very much for having me on.
Yeah,
It's a pleasure and an honor to be on.
Well, good. You deserve to be on, man, honestly. And I mean that, man. You put it in work, man. I respect that. You guys are digging ditches and doing it, man. And you can't be denied. It's like I saw you guys play at the Black and Blue Bowl. Not the last one, the year before. It's a year ago now. It's basically a year and a month or so ago.
Yep.
And you guys were great. And since then, you guys have really things that you've been on a fast ride, man.
I appreciate that. I like to tell people, after 25 years of doing my thing, Bayway is not an overnight sensation. I can assure you that. But it's been great to get the respect, and it's been an absolute pleasure to be able to play so many shows with so many great bands. So that show in particular, opening up for Agnostic Front is a dream come true.
Sure, but that's it. But that's interesting. Like what you said. I think Joe Satriani or Steve. I think it was Joe Satriani said something. They said, "Oh wow, overnight sensation." He said, "Listen, it took me 20 years to become an overnight sensation."
I'm a 20 years overnight sensation. It's
Yeah.
sitting for you right now, man. I started at 13. I'm pushing 38, and now people care. I don't know why.
Right.
Like I said to you earlier, I wish I'd have known Motherfucker was as powerful as it was. I'd have used it a long time ago.
Yeah, there you go. Justin Velez says, I came here to learn more about Bayway. You guys look like you put on 6 shows. I like the Delusion feature.
Delusion. It's another band out of Jersey, yeah.
That might be early on when I first heard these days. So many bands, it's hard for me to keep up. Well, don't worry. We're gonna chop it up a little bit and you'll learn a couple things. So how did you come up? Did you grow up in a musical household? How did music come into your life?
Well, my father came up in like the 70s CBGB scene. He was like super into, I guess, the earliest versions of punk. Like one of his famous stories is like pissing next to the Ramones, you know what I mean? And just falling into the fucking urinal. So he was big into the New York scene in the late 70s, early 80s. Early on, he taught me how to play drums, probably about like maybe 5 years old, I guess, is when I started fucking around. And then my parents kind of went their separate ways, whatever. My father was big into the Rolling Stones. He was big into the New York Dolls, shit like that. And then, you know, my mother was more into Black Sabbath when she was younger. But as the 90s came about, she got very into hip hop. I mean, you know, from Chub Rock to Snoop and Dre to DOS Effects to Naughty by Nature, all of this.
Was this the first music that you sort of, as a very young person, that was in your household? This stuff.
I think my earliest song that I like remember like fucking with, like the song that like sticks out to me, that I was like, dude, I can't live without this particular track, was probably Run DMC and Aerosmith.
Oh wow!
Because that to me, like, I think that really perfectly describes sort of what Bayway is. That's kind of the start of all of that. Yeah. But to me, I just thought it was so fucking cool that like my mom's shit and my dad's shit was together on one track, you know? And I think at that time, because they were going through a divorce, I so badly wanted them to be together anyway, that I think I just really identified with that song. So as it progressed, I really remember like my earliest is probably like Chub Rock, Treat 'Em Right was like, that was like a huge track for me when I was a little kid.
The Chubster.
Yeah, I remember singing that in car seats. You know what I mean? Like having that down pat. And then, you know, it got into DOS Effects, Big L, Notorious B.I.G., all the New York stuff, Mobb Deep, Nas. You know, all of that stuff was like super, super important for me coming up. And to be honest with you, I don't even know that I fucked with music that had guitars in it until I was in like 6th or 7th grade. It wasn't on my radar. It just wasn't. You know, like I knew of Black Sabbath. I knew about Ozzy, like shit like that because of my mom. And I knew about the Stones because of my dad, maybe like Stone Temple Pilots because of my dad. But like I just wasn't into that style of music really.
And you were born in Elizabeth?
I was born in Elizabeth General. The hospital's no longer there. But yeah, I was born, you know, right down in the Bayway area. My family's from Bayway. It's actually a place. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, they came here from Italy. They landed in Bayway. I don't know why they chose it, but that's what they did.
Right. Well, that area is that the Goethals, the Outer Bridge crossing over there?
Right, Goethals Bridge is right there. Yeah.
Right. So it's sort of that part of Jersey leads into the back door of Staten Island, and it's a pretty traditionally Italian area.
Yeah, I would say so for sure.
Yeah.
There's a whole section called Peterstown that's very much, you know, still has the old restaurants and still has the old butchers that you could still go to, things like that, you know. But I mean, as I grew up, you know, the neighborhood started to change in the best ways possible because, like I always say, there's nothing better than being able to get whatever kind of fucking food you want. Personally, that's how I feel about it. It's what I've always loved about New York City. It's what I love about Elizabeth. You know, you can get Colombian food, you can get Haitian food, you can get Italian food, you can get Indian food, you can get anything you fucking want. And, you know, that to me was like, you know, a big part of making me who I was, you know, growing up.
Sure. I can relate. I grew up in New York City in eclectic neighborhoods, and I went to public school with all kinds of different kids. And, you know, just growing up, that's why a lot of things seem so strange to me growing up, like, you know, racism and all this kind of stuff was just so out of the norm for me. Like, you know, I got my ass kicked by everybody in public school, whites, blacks, you know.
Nobody seemed to care what color I was, what color they were.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm being silly here, but you know what I mean.
You're not wrong though. I mean, I experienced a lot of similarities in terms of growing up. You know, I was definitely like a small nerdy kid. You know, I had a lazy eye. I had all the things that are kind of working against you. So, you know, I did what I had to do coming up in different areas. But I think that coming up with those different cultures, especially in the 90s, there was so much more of an open mind to culture swapping and culture blending that I think it really made me who I am as a musician today, you know?
Right on. And you know, obviously, you know, we're all somewhat a product of our environments, right?
For sure.
So, what was the first music that really spoke to you, that you were really passionate about?
I will say I really, really think that as I got into, as I sort of got into hardcore, my sister Lisa introduced me to hardcore. Obviously, we're from Elizabeth. She was pretty aware of E-Town Concrete, as everybody from Elizabeth was, if you like the style of music. So my introduction to hardcore, like my first day on the job, I got E-Town Concrete's Time to Shine, and I got Downset's self-titled record. And for me, E-Town was great because I really related with so many of the, broken home aspects of that record. And, coming up really poor and just being from the same neighborhood as these guys, I felt like there was a way out for me because they were showing it to me. Sure. And then as I got into Downset, and I'll only briefly touch on this because I know this is not a political show, but as I got into Downset, I kind of became aware of, some of the things that had happened in my life, some of the themes, violence against women, sure. Things like that they were kind of like really at the forefront of talking about and being really vocal about. So as I started to listen to Downset and understand and sort of identify with that political side and like that sort of like willingness to sort of be open about what's gone on in your life, I think I really identified with those two records. And then Hate Breeds Satisfaction is the Death of Desire was also a record that was given to me pretty early. And I mean, what do you say that hasn't been said about that fucking record already? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that record did. But that Downset record was a very powerful record. I was around for that. They were managed by Scott Koenig and Rush Management, who also was managing Biohazard. Right. And when I was working with Biohazard out in '94, I believe, that we did this big tour of Biohazard, Dog Eat Dog, Downset. And
does it get any better than that?
Yeah. Across Europe in '94. It was a huge tour. I mean, it was every night was like New Year's. Every night was New Year's Eve. You know what I mean? It was
I imagine it was.
It was incredible. It was incredible when you just go from one venue to another, and every venue's absolutely sold out. Mob scene, yeah, and it was incredible and an incredible learning experience for me. I learned a lot, but I spent a lot of time with the Downset guys. I'm still friends with Little Roy to this day, and but that was the record they were touring on. Was that and that was a powerful record, man. Man,
that record, I've listened to it front to back so many times in my life, and I mean, just the goosebumps when anger, hostility towards the opposition. I mean, when that hits, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking Christ, does that thing hit?
Yeah, they used to open with that. That's what they.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not? I would have opened and closed with it. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's that good of a song.
Yeah. Was there? I mean, I know we're sort of. Well, I guess hip hop played pretty heavily into your teenage years.
Role. Yeah, massive role. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I started with hip hop. I wound up, getting involved with a couple of guys who wanted to start bands, and I had like drumming experience, but the guy that I had started hanging around with, this dude John, shout out John Scott, it's my boy. He wanted to play drums and he wanted me to play guitar. I had already played drums and he already owned a guitar, but as you know, when you're young, you're stupid, so you just do whatever the fuck, whatever feels right. So my uncle blessed me with a guitar that he made out of a fucking dining room table. Wow. It was like a Stratocaster fashioned off of what Eddie Van Halen had, like those single humbucker in it with the Floyd Rose, badass guitar. And he taught me how to play, like, I think Judas Priest, and he taught me how to play a Crazy Train. And as soon as I learned that, I was like, well, look, I'm a writer now. I've progressed, you know what I mean? This is it, So I started to write my own songs. So we got a band together and we wound up going to the studio out here where we're from. It's called Dome Studios. And the first day I went in there, in room A was Agents of Man. Room B was NJ Bloodline. And in room C was E-Town. So you can imagine I'm walking in and this is what I'm getting introduced to the first time I'm ever supposed to practice with a band. These are the guys I'm meeting. We were in room A.
Where was this? Where was this rehearsal?
This is actually in Kenilworth, New Jersey. It's called Dome Studios.
Dome.
Yeah. So I'm walking into room A, and Zach, all the Bulldoze guys are there, And I'm walking in like, hey, what's up, guys? You know, I don't even know who the fuck they are. And they're like, yeah, whatever, kid. You know what I mean? Get the fuck out of the way. And but I'm listening to them. I'm taking it in. And then Reek from NJ Bloodline, for whatever reason, he just took a liking to us. You know, he started to talk with us, and he started to take us under his wing. He started telling us, hey, you got to go to this show. You got to go to that show. And, you know, next thing you know, man, I found myself part of a scene. And it was a family I didn't have at the time and really needed. So became a really big, important thing for me, you know, and he became a huge figurehead for all of that for me.
What were some of the venues and bands that were like a part of this circuit that in that part of Jersey that you're talking about?
There was a band called, my first show that I ever went to was NJ Bloodline, was supposed to be one of their final shows. But on that show was Agents of Man. On that show was a band called December at Chronicles. For the Love Of was playing a lot of shows back then. E-Town played the show under an assumed name. Shattered Realm, which I'm now in, was playing a lot of shows at the time. You know, it was a VFW scene mostly is what I got involved with. Later it moved into the M&M Hall. When I could actually get a ride. I got to the M&M Hall, then I got to Chrome, then I got to Birch Hill. And, you know, I played I think my second show ever, I played at Birch Hill. So, you know, I went from playing like the high schools and the VFWs to going into the bigger venues. And at the time, Birch Hill was seeing, you know, a huge amount of hardcore bands. I mean, I was seeing Candiria. I was seeing E-Town like every other weekend. I was blessed with bands like Dillinger Escape Plan on their way up. You know, a lot of bands that, you know, maybe people wouldn't consider hardcore, but were very, very heavy and very influential at the time. You know, I mean, the bands like 40 Below Summer that were maybe on the more nu metal side, but we're still bringing in a lot of hardcore bands to open for them. And it was a cool time. Full Blown Chaos, like early Full Blown Chaos. Even seeing Boldo's reunions at the time. Were, you know, super important, super cool.
You mentioned, let me see if I can pull a photo here. Here we go. Got it. Let's see if this is the one. Oh, this will do. Or this. Yeah, let's
much love to you, Rachel King. Much love to you.
Yes. Hey, Rachel. Nice to see you out there, our beloved sponsor, Candle Witch Co. You mentioned Birch Hill, and I grabbed a shot. Hold on, let me get it up.
Yeah, it was a home away from home for me. It was one of my first gigs, man, at 15 years old.
Yeah. So that's
it.
Yeah, I love the marquee. Transplants. You got Soulfly playing, and then a week later you got Sepultura playing.
Which is everything you need to know about how great this fucking venue really was.
Yeah. I mean, this is, you know, Birch Hill's kind of one of those places that, like, that's been a little lost in the shifting sands of time, because it was a place that was it was right outside New York City. So if a band was coming into New York to play a show or on the way out, Birch Hill made sense to play.
I mean, I saw Biohazard there. I saw Life of Agony there. I mean, I saw Hatebreed. I saw Fear Factory. I could tell you, if I was to go through the Rolodex of shit I saw in that building, I mean, we could be here for the rest of the year.
I saw Slayer there. I saw
Slipknot and Linkin Park there.
Whoa, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
You know who I met there? I met your fucking boy Tony Palmisano there.
Ah.
On a 1-2 tree, Wheels to the Sky, Tony Palmisano.
Right. Yeah. There you go. So, you're in this. Did this band you were working up? Did you guys play out? Did you have a name?
Yeah, we were called Comatose, the band. It was my first band ever. We played a bunch of different shows. We played with Sworn Enemy and God Forbid on the main stage at Birch Hill. Okay. We played for Mortem to Ashes and Unearthed. We played with E-Town a bunch of times. The band didn't last very long. It was a very small portion of my life. And then I joined a band called Years Spent Cold shortly after that kind of got a lot bigger, a lot faster.
Makes sense. And how does that what's the timeline making your way to Bayway, and what was behind putting Bayway together?
So Bayway is a concept that started, I think it was about 17 or 18 when I met most of the guys that are in Bayway or formed Bayway. And we started to put together an idea. We could never find a singer or a guitar player, which I was never really able to sing and play guitar at the same time. So I used to be either the guitarist or the singer. So we never could really put the band together. So over the years, we kept putting it together. We tried different things. We did a band called, see, if you look here, the guy in the glasses, Dave, Chris, who's right next to me in the lifted shirt, and Diego, who's in the secondary Bayway jersey. We've all been in bands together since they were 15 years old.
Wow.
And so, we all got together. We've been playing music very similar to what Bayway sounds like. If we played you the demos from our old shit, it sounds very much like Bayway. Probably not nearly as honed in, but very similar. And so, we always kind of tried to do it. And we did death metal bands for like 10 years. Nobody gave a shit. We were just fucking around, touring, getting it out of our system. And coming out of COVID, we just really wanted to do something that we enjoyed. I kept telling everybody, like, look, if we're going to do this, I want it to feel like when I'm a kid. I want to be happy with what I'm doing. I want to be able to project. This is what I want to project when we play. I want to feel this good, because if people are going to pay to watch us play, I want them to have this feeling. I want them to see this guy.
Yeah.
So that was important to me coming out of COVID, was to really just honestly live my life. Getting locked up in the house and having that situation occur really makes you put a lot of things into perspective.
Wow. Interesting. I really didn't know that, you guys were grinding, for that long before the sort of the upward projectile,
It's amazing what a name change and the word motherfucker can do. You know what I mean?
What do you, at what point did you sort of, what was this project always kind of called Bayway, or was it during COVID you said, you know what, let's sort of realign ourselves. Let's call ourselves Bayway and let's move forward. We
hadn't played with Dave, our drummer, for I guess about 10 years. All right. And, through some things that had gone on in our personal lives, we went on separate journeys. Mm-hmm. And we kind of, as you do with your friends, you kind of meet right back where you're supposed to. The universe pulls you back together.
Sure.
And when that happened, it became a time where it was like, you know what? Let's start jamming again. Let's see what it sounds like. We went through a couple of different singers. We wrote a bunch of different records. And the EP that became World of Bayway, the first tape, I originally wasn't singing on it. And then I demoed out a couple. This is it right here. I demoed out a couple of songs as the singer, and I rapped on a few of them. And I remember telling the guys, listen, I rapped on a couple of the songs. I'm saying Bayway motherfucker. It's just a joke. It's kind of just to pop us and have fun with it. But I'm going to take it off. And they were like, to hell you are, bro. You're not taking that shit off. That's got to stay. And, now I'm rapping over everything, and it's become our style. And it's been a cool thing to kind of just be like, I really didn't approach this. Like, I didn't have lyrics written. I just kind of went into the studio with it and just kind of went with it, almost from a hip hop mentality, off the top of the dome. How do you feel, put it out there and let's see what happens. And This is what happened. And I mean, we worked with Pat RTF, who put out the Year Spent Cold stuff that I had done earlier. Mm-hmm. And it was a pleasure to work with him again. He's a great friend. And I'm still working with him to this day, putting out stuff, putting out re-releasing records. And, it's awesome. It's awesome to be able to do, this kind of stuff and have this DIY mentality all these years later with your friends. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. When the sort of the merry-go-round comes back around, this is the demo, the first release that was on RTF. It was cassette only in the beginning, right?
Cassette only on gold foil. It was absolutely ridiculous. I remember having the conversation of what do you want to do, and I said gold foil is the gaudiest, most Italian thing that we can do. So I want to do that. Let's start there.
Interesting, because there was, and I guess there still is to a certain extent, but releasing it on cassette. Who at the time had cassette players. I mean, I know there was a lot of cassette only releases, and I know a lot of them are, did really well. But it was an interesting concept, an interesting way to go. Fucking cassette only.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it made total sense because I'm such a 90s worship, early 90s worship, like all that hardcore stuff, like early 1-for-1, all the NJ Bloodline tape, like all of that stuff for me was just like so fucking influential and so awesome. So I just like, when Pat was only doing tapes at the time. So when he was like, let's do it on tape, I was like, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? Like, this is so cool to me. And like, we were chasing that NJ Bloodline red tape, like that lure of that NJ Bloodline red tape. And so I just really like, it made a lot of sense. And it was a demo. So I wanted to be true. Yeah. 1-for-1 Beyond Hate demo. That's exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. I wish 1-for-1 would come back. Tell Dan Murray I'll play whatever instrument he wants. But yeah, at this stage in the game, we weren't taking the band very seriously, so a tape was almost funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was just kind of like, much respects to Italy is what I'm talking about. Yeah. Goomba Paisan, that's what I'm talking about. But yeah, so at the time, a tape just made all the sense in the world.
Yeah, and the after the second, was this I'm a little. This is the second release?
This was, technically speaking, the third release.
Okay. Yeah, I got a little confused.
A Newport tape. We released a lot of stuff in a very short amount of time.
So the Newport tape was before this?
The Newport tape came before this.
Okay, I have that. Hold on. Here we go. Manufactured in Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Yeah. Yes, we were.
Here we go. So this is really kind of, I don't want to say a demo, but it's 4 songs, right?
Yeah, you know what? This was just, honestly, I wanted to do a full length, and we had the material for the full length, but we couldn't. We were sort of we were at a sort of bridge moment where we were working with RTF, but we were bringing in Lumpy from Days to start putting out some of our stuff. He heard the demo and he was interested in the band. And shout out to Lumpy. He's been fucking awesome for the band since the beginning. But he heard the demo. He was super into the band. So we wanted to work with him. So we brought him in and we decided to do this tape together through RTF and Days and do this corner store idea. Pat Garrity, RTF, he decided he had come up with this Newport concept. And me and him started working on it. And
great concept.
The corner store concept, it was just, it's so embedded in our culture and who we are. And if you put on the first track, it's the corner store track. Let me get a pack of Newports and a Dutch. If I had $1 for every time I said that in my life, I'd be a billionaire. You know what I mean? Right. I scrounged together money at every 7-Eleven to make this a reality for myself. We had every side hustle imaginable to get that Dutch for $1. So, it was a really, really important time for the band, and it was like people were starting to take us a little bit more serious.
And that where was that recorded?
I recorded everything at my studio, which you see behind you here. If you can see, I record everything right there.
Right.
Which is kind of turned into a pseudo Bayway warehouse factory at the moment, but everything gets recorded right behind me, right here at Bayway Studios.
I see your A to Z shit right behind you too.
100%. 100%. Records going in and records going out, baby, all the time.
Yeah. And am I safe to assume that the compilation of the 2 cassettes was put out as this?
Some of the stuff, the demo is the B-side of this record here.
Okay.
And then the song that we had with Stickman, and the song Cease to Exist also made it onto the record. World of Suffering, which is a crowd favorite and a song that's a powerhouse for us live, is only featured on the Newport sessions. And then I think later featured on Streets is Talking, which is a compilation of all the stuff we've done.
Yeah, it's good to mix it up, man. It's good to mix it up and, have a few little variations on different things.
I just love putting shit out. I love staying busy. You know what I mean?
No, you definitely in a couple of years you put out multiple multiple releases. You mentioned Stickman from Fury 5. Is that somebody that in that band? I mean, that was a New Jersey presence for a while, right?
I mean, here's my thoughts on Stickman. He was at our first show. I don't know why he liked the band. I don't even know why he was there. All I know is that I walked up to him, paid my respects to him because he's a New Jersey hardcore fucking legend.
Yeah.
And, you know, in that moment, we connected. We had a great conversation. And very soon after that, he was featured on a song because, I mean, listen, if you're going to get a feature from a New Jersey guy,
yeah,
who the fuck else you getting it from?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's fucking Stickman. So, you know, to have him on a track with us, to have him on multiple releases of ours, to have him support the band the way that he does, you know, was huge. It was very influential for us in the beginning of the band as well. Him getting behind us and him, you know, promoting us the way that he did was fucking awesome. And you know, I mean, the dude's a legend. What can you say about him that hasn't been said? The stories are true. He's a legend and he's an animal. And I really respect him. And I'm very, very thankful and grateful that he fucked with the band the way that he did.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you know, but I managed them back in the day. And
God bless you. I can only imagine.
Yeah, you know, I had a real penchant for chaos back then, and you know, they were notorious. They were intense. They were violent, and I just had to manage them. And,
all the physicality, you just had to have it.
Yeah, I had to, and we had some good times, and they were great, and they definitely put in the work to put New Jersey hardcore on the map.
100%. We would not.
Yeah,
I say it all the time. We would not be Bayway without Fury of 5.
Yeah,
they laid the groundwork, and we are just here and doing what we do based on the groundwork that they laid.
Yeah, but you know, this thing of ours it's cyclical in nature. You know,
sure.
it you know, one generation's band, one generation kind of, you know, puts a spot on a map, and then things kind of change, and then it comes back around again, and then, you know, there's a Fury of 5, and then it comes, and then there's an E-Town, and then you know, there's a Bayway, and I mean, that's sort of the joy of this whole thing is that the pulse of music and community and culture, basically.
Nothing means more to me than when I talk to an OG in this thing of ours, and they say you're doing things the right way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I know what that means. That means so much more than what they're saying.
Sure.
You know, you know what it is. A guy comes up to you and says that to you. There's no bigger form of respect than having a guy who's done it before come up to you and tell you you're moving the right way, you're doing the right things. You know what I mean? I fuck with what you're doing. Ultimately, is what they're saying. And to have legendary guys say that to me on behalf of Bayway or whatever the reasoning is, it means everything. Phil Vasquez is another one. This fucking guy right here from Irate.
Yep. Jayway's doing it the right way, humble and hardworking, hustling his brand while looking out for others. Tons of respect, my dude. And that's Phil Vasquez, of course, Phil Irate, whose son is playing guitar in Brass Knuckle Brigade, who we play with a lot.
I mean, this is what I mean. If you'd told me when I was a kid, yeah, you're gonna get a cosign from Phil from Irate, I'd have been like, it's really fucking funny. You know how many times I went over the Brooklyn Bridge trying to buy weed, listening to fucking Gone?
Right.
I can't even tell you how many fucking times.
Yeah, Phil's good people. Hey, I just want to throw this in real quick, talking about Fury of 5 out there. Anybody in the New York area, on Sunday, July 13th, free all ages Sunday matinee as part of our Back to the New York Hardcore Roots series. Fury of 5 is headlining with Shoot the 5, The Long Wait, featuring Jamie Sharappa and Steve Rustine from Jamie Sharappa from SSD and Steve Rustine from Slapshot and Mark McKay, Jerry Body and Fug It. So just a heads up, yo, Fury of 5 coming to Manhattan.
Is this the show where they're doing that War with the World too? Because they're supposed to be doing that in its entirety.
I saw Jimmy the other day. He told me they decided not to do that. Jay Fury, they want to mix it up a little more. So
they got new music coming, so it makes sense.
Yeah, that's the case. Scott says Jay's hustle reminds you of Jamie Jasta back in the day. Well, that's Jamie hustled hard. Jamie Jasta put Connecticut on the map,
Yeah, I mean, listen, anybody that's going to compare me, there's two comparisons that I'll take today, all right? You can tell me I look like Isaac, and you can tell me I hustle like Jamie Josta. I'm willing to accept both of those things. You know how many times people have said, you know who you look like? And I'm like, let me guess.
Let me guess.
Danny Diablo.
Right. Have you worked with him? Have you done Thor Ward says praying for a Danny Diablo collab.
Tell Danny right now I'm down. You know what? Listen, I just did a Scarhead track. We did it. I had Dimi and Zach in here recording, and Big Robbie Shreds, Robbie Castoria was in.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was an absolute honor for me. I love Scarhead. Came up a big Scarhead guy, and to be able to do a Scarhead record was insane. Apparently, we're gonna do more. Hit Danny Diablo up. Also, rest in peace to Danny Diablo's
Godzilla.
Yes, exactly. Rest in peace. And you hit Danny and you tell him that I want to do a song with him. I'd love to do a fucking song with Danny.
I'll talk to him. Moving forward, so was this at this point another cassette only release? Asbury Nights?
Asbury Nights was a cassette only. We never released it anywhere else other than on cassette. Wow. So it exists nowhere unless you have the cassette. So it was one of those special things where, you know, like back in the day, you had to be there to get it.
Yeah.
You know, you had to go to the show to get the flyer for the next one.
And was this like a limited run? And like if you got it, you got it. And if you don't, your ass out.
Don't quote me. I think we did 100 copies of it, and that was it. And we never did it again.
That's the way to go, man.
I think it's fucking cool, right? I mean, that's the shit I loved when I was a kid. So, like I told you, that's been the whole thing for Bayway is it's gotta pop me. I gotta think that it's like it's either gotta be hilarious or it's gotta make me feel like chasing that back to basics 1-for-1 7-inch.
Sure. That makes sense. At what point now was the Maze World is Bond EP, right? Was this I'm just trying to get to was this printed on vinyl?
Word is Bond was never done on vinyl, only tape.
Wow. Incredible.
Only tape. I know.
Yeah.
It sold out 5 fucking times through 5 presses.
Wow.
And the first 2 times it sold out in like, I think it was like a few hours. It was something insane. I remember thinking to myself, what the fuck is going on here? But our drummer kept coming to practice smoking Black and Milds. I was dying laughing because I hadn't smoked a Black and Mild since I worked overnights at UPS. Oof. And, well, you know, I mean, you get up.
No, I'm offing over the Black and Milds, man.
Listen,
they were anything but mild.
You go on probation, you work at UPS overnight, you smoke Black and Milds. It's, you know, it's a fucking New Jersey pastime. So, so I kept telling him, I said, dude, we're going to do the fucking Black and Mild EP. And this is what it wound up being. It went from a joke at practice to a real life tape.
Yeah. You know, when this show's over, I'm getting on the phone to my guys. I'm like, you know what? We should be thinking about let's put out something on cassette.
You should. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Especially in this fucking economy. You got to make the cheapest fucking available thing for people to buy.
Yeah.
That's it.
A to Z prints up those cassettes?
I don't know who does the cassettes if I'm completely honest with you. I think A to Z does do cassettes.
Right.
I think that's who Lumpy works with, but I'm not exactly sure. Can't wait to catch you on the 4th too. I was upset I didn't see you in Asbury, Jason.
What's happening the 4th?
The 4th of July, we're playing the Helfira, New Jersey showcase with E-Town Concrete, Folly, Nora, Year Spent Cold, Bulldoze. I mean, million bands. XL Bully, who I recorded here at Bayway Studios. There's a ton of bands on the show.
Cool. Makes sense. Hey, let me take a sponsor break for a couple minutes and take a breather, and we'll come back and we'll talk about Bayway Takes Manhattan. We'll talk about you playing guitar in Shattered Realm, your rap project, Jayway 908, so on and so forth. I'll see you back here in a couple minutes.
Thanks, brother.
That's right. Our guest today is Jayway of Bayway, a guy with an incredible hustle and a band that is on a meteoric rise. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. And now a word from our sponsors. Since 1992, Generation Records has been a mainstay of the New York metropolitan area music scene. Today, they offer a diverse selection of new and used rock, jazz, indie, hip-hop, punk, hardcore, metal, blues, soundtrack, and reggae LPs, as well as t-shirts, posters, and other merchandise. They buy used record collections and music memorabilia and will pay you top dollar for them. House calls made for large collections in the tri-state area. Call or email generationrecords@gmail.com and follow them on Facebook and Instagram.
Will that be cash or in debt?
Do you mean debit?
Yes. Sorry. Another eternally satisfied customer.
Yo, what's happening? I'm out here at one of our all-ages Sunday matinees on the Bowery. I hope that you are enjoying today's show. I just want to let you know that the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live needs your support. Please step up. There is a Patreon page that has a lot of unique program. Shows are announced there first. Lots of good stuff. There's a PayPal address right there on the screen if you want to make a contribution. There's also a super chat function. You could do that, but the bottom line is this show exists because of your support. We're going to be doing it for a long, long time. Thank you for all your support through the years. Back to the show.
Conditioned by indoctrination, conditioned by society. You're a victim of the digital age, a 21st century casualty. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Conditioned by misinformation, it's just the media telling us lies. Decipher fiction from the truth, society's slow and tragic demise. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Everyone's got their fucking opinion.
And we're back. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Want to shout out Jimmy Ferrari from Blast Furnace Productions, RS70, my man. Respects to those that worked the UPS graveyard shift, making this world function. Hey, I want to mention a couple of upcoming shows. Sunday, July 6th, there will not be a show this weekend because, of course, this Saturday, we Incendiary Device are playing up in Boston, and it is my birthday, and I'm taking the next day off. We'll be back here a week from Sunday with Jeff Mantis Dunn from Venom. Hail Satan. So, yeah, Jeff Mantis on Sunday, July 6th. And then a couple days later, our beloved friend Cindy Halfrats. Are you down for that, Lori Dawn? Hey, you're co-hosting the show with me. You know that?
I am. I'm doing my homework now. It's gonna be awesome. Tune in. Special guest.
Special guest.
Special guest.
And she plays in a band called Fug It.
Yeah.
All right. Eddie's. Cindy Halfrats on Wednesday, July 9th. Wednesday, July 16th, Greg Jacobs, author, talking about his book, Hell on Wheels, Tour Stories Remembered, Remixed, and Remastered. Ooh. Get your shoes and socks on, kids. Tommy Carroll's going to be on the show, co-hosted by Howie Abrams on Sunday, July 20th. Get ready. It's going down. Tommy Carroll. while we're at it, while we're hailing Satan, Steve Ashing from Deicide will be on the show Sunday, July 27th. Very excited to have Steve on the show. He has been in Deicide since the very beginning. This show will be co-hosted by Joel Ghostin. Excited about this. Speaking of Scarhead and Crown of Thorns, Demi is going to be on the show Wednesday, August 6th, a beloved figure hailing from Astoria, Queens. This has not been announced yet. You are hearing it here first. Yes, Alec Mackay will be on the show. The Untouchables, The Faith, Ignition, The Warmers, and currently Hammered Hulls. Yes, E. Mackay's younger brother, Alec Mackay, will be on the show Wednesday, August 13th. Sunday, August 17th, Tim Williams from VOD will be on the show. So lots going on. Lots going on with the show. Please, if you can, be a supporter. Don't be a Hatreon. Join Patreon. That's the best way to support the show. There's the Patreon page right there, www.patreon.com/Drew Stone. Support the show that supports you. Give love to the show that loves you. There's also a PayPal address there if you're on the lam and you don't want to get involved with Patreon and you want to make a contribution. Please, if you're watching the show on YouTube and rerun, there is a subscribe button there. Please subscribe to the Stone Films NYC YouTube page. Also, grab your communication device right now. Follow the show on the evil empire known as Instagram. And give the show, lean over to your communication device or whatever you're watching the show on right now, and please give the show a thumbs up or a heart. I am told that these things are good for the analytics, if that makes sense to you. That said, let's make sure, some good shows are coming up. Damn, you're darn tootin'. Tommy Carroll and Deicide. Yep. Is that right, Phil? Phil Irate? Can't wait for that Deicide show. Big influence on Irate. Is that right? Interesting. I know, right? Tommy Carroll. Howie Abrams made that happen. I'm like, you want to get Tommy Carroll? You want to co-host it? Fine. Let's make it happen. That said, let's bring today's guest on from Bayway, Jayway. Hey. So that's it. Let me put you over there on your.
By the way, happy almost birthday.
Thanks, man.
No problem.
You know, I'm grateful, man. I have a nice life now, and I'm a little bit older than not that means anything, but I have a nice life, and I'm grateful for it. Just got married on stage by Vinny Stigma at one of our matinees. Come on. I'm playing on my birthday up in Boston, where I really got my start in Boston in 1981. I fell in with SSD, and I was part of that original Boston crew, and I'm really grateful. I'm happy for that.
That's all you could ever hope for, right? That's it.
I don't sweat the small stuff, and I don't get too upset about anything anymore, and I don't get too happy about anything anymore.
That sounds like you're smart.
I just play it down the middle,
That's it. Lower your expectations. Everything should be okay.
Feelings are fleeting; they will pass.
Yeah.
I mean, have you dealt with anything with Bayway? Sort of, kind of, I think for a lot of people, you kind of came out of left field. Although we know that's not the case, but have you dealt with any kind of weird vibe, pushback stuff about who are these guys? Coming out of left field, and how do you deal with that?
I dealt with I've dealt with my fair share of shit my whole life. So I really honestly I don't want to say I don't read the comments. I think everybody reads the comments to an extent.
Sure.
But I don't really give a fuck. I really laugh at a lot of the things. Like if you got that kind of time on your hands and you don't like what I'm doing, I mean that's really your problem, no?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stop. So what the fuck do I care? I got a lot of people around me that really, really love me and support me. I got guys that come out of the woodwork that I looked up to. Look at Phil jumping in on the chat.
Sure.
You know, so it's like, listen, man, I've got plenty to be thankful for and plenty to be happy about. I don't waste my time being pissed off about other people's problems.
Sure. That's good.
You know, there's no point, man. It takes away from my energy, and I'd rather use all my energy to be creative.
It's also, I mean, personally, I feel like it's a bad look. You know, if somebody has something to say, good, go say it. Who cares? I could care less. You know, if you don't like my show, change the dial. Who cares?
Hey, listen, if they're talking about you, is it a bad thing? Probably not, right?
Right, yeah.
Well, listen, I'd rather get a million bad reactions than no fucking reaction at all. At least I made you feel.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, you got to get you down to Puerto Rico. Gerardo, you got to get down to Puerto Rico.
Gerardo, listen, hit me up on the Instagram. I got nothing going. Book me next week. Let's go. I don't fucking care. What do you think?
Hey, Jay's accessible, man. Reach out to him.
Listen, bro, I'm just like you. I'm trying to go to Puerto Rico fucking tomorrow. I love the beach.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a Puerto Rico connection. I'll reach out to you. I got a Puerto Rican. We were supposed to go out there. It was a Puerto Rican promoter, but we got booked for a bunch of festivals, and we said, let's wait a second. Maybe let's go down to Puerto Rico and play together. Incendiary Device in Bayway. That would be awesome.
I'm all open to going to Puerto Rico. Let's do it.
I'll reach out to George Musa tonight. There you go. That's how it works. Let's talk a little bit about Bayway Takes Manhattan.
Sure.
Give us the background on it. How did it come together? Are you feeling good about it?
Bayway Takes Manhattan for me was, I don't want to say it was more of a serious record, but I think it was a little bit more of a serious record. I'll be honest with you, man. There's a track on this record, or this tape, I should say. There was a track on this tape called "It's a Cold World," and as the band started to play shows and a lot more people started to come and kind of recognize who we were, I started to realize that the demographic that was in front of me was a lot younger. Some of these kids were 13 years old.
Sure.
And I started to reassess and reevaluate the message that I was sending, because at a certain point in time, hardcore for me was a lot about the message. And I think for some people, maybe it's kind of gone away. People don't like it when guys talk or whatever. People are afraid to be opinionated or whatever. So it is what it is. But for me, I was struggling with addiction for a long, long time in Bayway and prior to Bayway. And this song, "It's a Cold World," kind of came on the heels of me being sober for about a year. And I wrote this song because I wanted people to understand that when you go through something like this, you're supposed to lean on the community. Hardcore is a community, and you're supposed to lean on your brothers and sisters in this community for help when you need it. And so that's what I wanted people to understand. And so for me, it was important to kind of write a song about my sobriety. I give a speech before we play it every time about how I've been, sober for however long I've been sober. And it keeps me in check in a lot of ways. It keeps me right, and I think it's inspirational to kids to not talk to them about getting fucked up and ruining their lives, but maybe talk to them about maybe not getting fucked up and not ruining your life. You know what I mean? And so "It's a Cold World" is about coming up, having life be really, really hard and kind of kick you in the nuts, but it doesn't need to overcome you. You can lean on that community aspect of hardcore and better yourself, better your life, and fix your problems. And I'm not saying that, sobriety is for everybody. Some people have self-control. I don't. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. And for me, it's my way of life. So all I can do is give you life through my perspective.
Sobriety ain't for anyone, but I know it's for me. And if it ain't for you, hey, I don't give a fuck. It's like, right. I know it's for me, and I know everything I have is due to the fact that at a certain point I got clean and sober. That's just me. And in the business that we're in, yes. Everybody has their own trip, whatever. I don't tell anybody to, do this, I don't, all I know is for me, the life that I had and the issues that I had, my life, everything, all the great stuff I have in my life really these days is a direct result for me getting clean and sober.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I've noticed as I've been on this sobriety journey, the band has gotten more successful. My life has gotten better.
Welcome to my show.
You know what I mean? I mean, I'm married 18 years. I'm giving my wife the best version of me that she's ever probably had. Thank you, honey, for staying. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't always pretty. That's all I can say. But you know what? It was important to me to write a song that would influence people and be positive. So much of what we do is negative and based in negativity and fuck you and fuck your version of what my life should be and And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that because there's 3 other songs on this record that talk about that.
Right.
You know,
right.
Currency is very much about the rich people coming into the hardcore scene, taking our culture and taking what we have, things that they don't understand, and bringing it back and using it for profit. That's what the song's about. That's why I wrote it. It's a very angry song. Mm-hmm. But it's become a very popular song because it's real.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just looking at, like you said, a lot of kids, man. And it's interesting because I recognize some of these Jersey kids, you know,
these life of decision kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, listen, here's the thing, you know, I was told in the beginning of the band, you know, you guys have this crazy way of sort of bridging the gap between the old school and the new school. Guys from the 90s really like your band and 13-year-old kids really fuck with your band. Yeah. Now that's a real one right there. You know what I'm saying? that you know, look, anytime that guy comes up, puts his arms around you and gives you a hug, you know you've been touched by an angel. Yeah. That's a beautiful man. Yeah. With a beautiful family.
Yeah, Chris, start texting me right now. 300 totally irrelevant texts would really be helpful while I'm doing the show. And make sure you hit Jay at the same time as well.
Chris, you can always text me. You know that. I love you.
I had his cousin on the show before this. I have Mike on, and I'm trying to do the show, and the thing's beep, 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 beep. It's like, bro, I'm doing the show. You know?
Mike is a great interview, though.
Mike was great.
I love Mike.
He started talking about, you know, he tried to clone his cat, and we got into this whole, you know, Mike's out there, and then we were talking about cloning Vinny Stigma. It was great.
Mike is one of the one of the first things that I did that I thought like I had really made it. I was like, yo, I'm gonna jam with like Bulldoze, you know what I mean? So I got him in here, we start jamming, and he starts talking, and we hung out till 4:00 in the morning bullshitting. And I was like, holy fucking shit, Mike is out there. Yeah. But in the coolest fucking way possible. Love that. He's a legend. I love you, legend.
One of the joys of doing this show is, you know, I'm getting the opportunity to sort of connect with, you know, as a human being and as someone that's into music or a musical historian art, you know, you can only humanly do, you know, get exposed to so much stuff as you go along.
Conversations you can have at a show in the backstage with 45 people back there.
But now doing this show, I'm connecting with one of the joys of the show is connecting with people like yourself and people like Mike, and who probably under normal circumstances, hey, I saw your band, or hey, what's up, this and that. But you know, it's just a joy.
Deep into his love of movies, like that guy more about movies than anybody I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, he's into it.
It's insane
for sure. What is? You sent this to me. How does this fit in?
Okay, so July 4th, we have a new record. It's called The Recipe.
Okay.
This character came about when we did World of Bayway Volume 2, which was our first full length. And we've been sort of using this character ever since. I came up with this concept because I started to cook online and people really started to take a liking to it. They really liked my cooking videos. I couldn't fucking believe it. I really started to cook because I wanted to connect with my Italian ancestry. My grandmother was a fantastic cook. Ever since she passed, that part of the family has all but slipped away. And I really wanted it to come back. I wanted my daughter to experience what I had as a child.
Sure.
So the concept became, you know, we did World of Bayway. We're doing The Recipe is me. I mean, from day one to now, you know, the seed has been watered. Things that have happened to me in my life, that's sort of the world through my eyes is what my lyrics are. So I thought, you know, how ridiculous would it be if I took a gigantic pot of sauce and I dumped it on the earth? and we had the recipe. And this is sort of where this came up. July 4th, the record comes out. It's on Trustkill Records. We got signed to Trustkill, which another thing that if you would have told me when I was 15 years old, I would have laughed in your fucking face. Sure. And you know, Josh has been fantastic. The whole working with him has been great. He's such a hardcore kid. Like, it's so crazy how much of New Jersey hardcore is Josh, like how much he's embedded in it. And so it's been a pleasure to work with a guy like that. He's literally let me do whatever I fucking wanted to do. You know, I mean, he's just basically been like, you know, show me what you want Bayway to be and let's fucking put it out there.
Well, that's a good way to play it.
I mean, look, you know, it's always cool when you get involved with something that's a little bit bigger and they don't try to change the product or make it something that it's not and water it down. And he really, I mean, he was about as hands off. Like, he really believes in Bayway. You know, like, believing in Bayway is something that's important. And he really believes in Bayway. And you know, it was awesome to see that firsthand and to have this guy that you really look up to and respect, like, believe so heavily in your branding and your product and what you want to do.
That's fantastic, because we've all seen things sort of not go that way, or when bands get involved with, you know, labels or situations where, you know, you guys should try this or do that. And, it's good when you're in a situation where you can do your thing. You have the autonomy to creatively do what you want, you know?
Yeah, it was the most important thing, I think, for me when signing with Trustkill. I mean, you know, I'll tell you here on this, I don't know if I'm really even supposed to talk about it, but you know, you would think you're signing with a bigger label. It's going to be like this 600-page record contract. Josh sent me a 1-page record contract. It had 2 paragraphs.
Nice.
It's like, hey, we're going to do records together and this is what it's going to be. And it was so fucking cool, you know, and it was just a really great experience. And I've had nothing but great experiences working with Lumpy and Days. Days Records is a fucking fantastic powerhouse, putting out nonstop great records constantly. And working with him was very much the same. Yo, yeah. Lumpy, this is what I want to do. And he would be like, yo, let's fucking do it. Boom, it's over. And that's what we went. New shirt, believe in Bayway. Gutter, you're on the money. You're always on the money. And you don't know how fucking on the money you really are.
Talk about New Jersey legends, yo.
Listen, if you haven't smoked weed with Gutter Christ, you haven't been to a show.
Legend.
You know what I mean? You haven't been to a show.
Gutter's in the New Jersey Hardcore Hall of Fame.
Gutter should come on this show. That's who you should have on this show.
Yeah, I should have Anthony.
He's about as ridiculous a human being as you could get.
He's great. Always had love for Gutter, man. Great guy.
That's a paisan right there. Ain't nothing wrong with Gutter Christ.
Absolutely. A little bit about are you still doing the Jayway 908 sort of rap is it fair to say rap project?
Yeah, I would say it's a rap thing. I put out 1 track. It was like really honestly just for fun. And then what happened is I started to write a full EP. I have music for the full EP, some of which you're going to hear because I think Gutter Christ Compels You is hilarious. Some of the stuff you're going to hear on the new record, because the rap stuff is actually going to get released, I think, later on. Cool. But I wrote a full EP as Jayway 908, and what happened was we weren't intending to be signed to Trustkill.
Right.
When we got signed to Trustkill, we had to do a full length. Josh wanted to do 10 songs. When that happened, I had a lot of material that I had already done on Jayway 908 that I wrote all these lyrics to. And as I was writing the material for the new record, I started to put these lyrics to some of the songs, and it just worked. And you know, sometimes you don't know why you're doing something, but you're just doing it creatively for whatever reason. And this rap EP that I did wound up being this record that you're going to hear, The Recipe, coming out on July 4th. And now looking back on it, it was an exercise to keep me sort of sharpened in a time where we weren't writing.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, not that I won't release more rap songs in the future, because I love it. I love doing hip hop stuff. But the hip hop EP that I had worked so hard on wound up becoming this recipe that you're going to hear.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's how it plays out sometimes, right?
Hey, listen, I have no control over it. I just I let the universe pull me in whatever direction I'm going in.
Yeah. Are there any current, dare I use the term, rappers that you're excited about that you feel are on the money?
I really, really, really enjoy listening, and they're kind of bigger, so I don't know that they really even count. But I really enjoy listening to Shakewell. He's a guy out of Cali. Just fantastic. Like his flow is really good. He can't really do anything wrong. I listen to that a lot. There's actually one record that just came out that my guitar player Tito has sent over to me. Let me pull it up real fast. That I fuck with pretty heavy. Let me see. From Rome Streets.
I don't know this.
Train Spotting. Rome Streets.
Rome as in ROAM?
No, ROME, Streets with a Z.
Oh. Like Rome, Italy.
Yep. I mean, I listened to this record. We had a long flight to London, and he gave this to me right before I got on the flight. I listened to it front to back like twice, and I was like really, really into it. If I spin something twice, it's like fucking insane these days, you know? Shout out to Gutter. I love you, Gutter.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like from start to finish, the record really just hit me. But yeah, that's something I listen to. I also listen to a lot of Suicide Boys. I listen to, you know, shit like that. I really like, you know, I listen to Lil Peep. I listen to a lot of like the darker, I guess, sad boy rap. I don't know what you want to call it. I just fuck with what I fuck with. You know, it was my old man used to say, I don't care what the weed is called. I don't care if it's fucking Queen Latifah. You know, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Just give me the good weed or don't give it to me at all. You know, so I don't care about what the genre is. I don't care about whether it's cool or I listen to what I like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of what you like, just to make a stop with Bayway Records, and you mentioned Life of Deceit. What is the business model of Bayway Records? How does that work? How do you, who falls into your orbit? What gets released?
If you talk to my tour manager / bass player, he would tell you I'm sort of chaotic. I don't, without other people in my life guiding me to where I need to go, I'm an absolute fucking disaster. I fly by the seam of my pants. Everything that I do is based on feeling. And I really just don't allow myself to make decisions, you know, based on what, like, logic, or I don't go by any of that. So when Life of Deceit came in to record their record, I heard it. I said to myself, this is fucking great. I'm putting it out. I don't give a fuck. I got to put this out. And that was really it. I don't have a concept of what I want Bayway Records to be because I don't want a construct. So I don't allow myself to be stuck in, oh, it's got to be this or it's got to be that. I really just want it to be something that makes me happy and something that I believe in. I don't want to put anything out that I don't love. You know, and if I don't like really fuck with what's happening in that moment, then I don't really, you know, everything for me is feeling. That's how I do recordings too. Like a lot of people are like, you know, I want to record to the click and it needs to be like this and it's got to be chop, 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 and it's got to be edited. I don't believe in any of that. I don't like that. I think it's fucking stupid. I'm very punk rock in that sense. I like to capture the moment. If you sucked that day, too bad. Then it sounds like Misfits Static Age and you got to move on. You know, it is what it is. You know, if you weren't up to snuff, who cares? Maybe that's why the record is good.
Hey, and if you listen to our band if you listen to Incendiary Device, basically every song, being that we don't play with a click track, starts at this tempo, and by the time it ends, it's fucking going twice as fast.
And listen, here's the thing. Sometimes adrenaline does that to you.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
That's real punk rock shit. That's real hardcore shit.
It took a minute to figure it out, but then we realized, you know what? It's all the songs, just the power of inertia, the excitement, the vibe, the whole thing just builds and builds and builds.
And that's what you want in a song. You want to feel the emotion of the song. You do not want to chop it up and lop the balls off of the fucking product that you're trying to put out there.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, Pat, that's right. That's how good rock music is supposed to sound, for sure.
Leave the mistakes in. That's how I always feel about it. A lot of guys come through the studio, they get very self-conscious. I don't want to leave that in there. And I tell them, hey, listen, I took it out, but I leave it in. I don't care.
Well, there's a lot of bands that it's just things. It's kind of maybe their sound, but things are very sterile, cut and paste, no mistakes, nothing off. You know, nothing. But
and it's okay. It's okay if what you do isn't for me, and it's also okay if I'm not the guy to record you. That's fine. I'm fine with that. I think you should get exactly what you want to get out of your recording experience. But at the end of the day, I'm also not willing to put my name on anything I don't believe in. And that's just what I feel about it.
Did those kids record right there in your place?
Everybody records right here, right behind me. Yep, they came in, they recorded, no click. They let it fucking rip. Yeah. And after they were done, I said to myself, man, these fucking kids got something.
Yeah, they're great.
They got something.
Yeah. I like that band. And you know, I've come in contact with a lot of younger bands doing what we do down at the Bowery and just playing shows. And I like all these young kids that are doing it. I do. But I must say, Life of Deceit, formerly Gunk, really, really bring it to the next level. They really, really bring it, those kids.
Listen, there's something to be said about the energy of a singer, especially in hardcore.
Yeah.
And their singer Nolan, Chris knows it. You know what I mean? That's where all the beautiful shit comes from.
Right.
But their singer Nolan has an energy that you cannot teach a singer to get on stage and give you everything he's got. You can't teach that. You either have that or you don't have that. You can't develop it. You can't learn it. You either go up there and you give everybody everything you got or you don't. It's very simple. And this kid goes up there and he just fucking gives them everything he's got. And it's just impressive. It's impressive.
There's a lot of young bands out there. I like them. I like Redwoods. I like Deadshot. You know, I like a lot of.
There's a band, Defy You, out of New Jersey that's picking up some steam right now. Negative Force, another great band out of Jersey. XL Bully is a great band that I feel like you would fuck with heavily.
I don't know them. I'll check them out.
You should check them out because if you like what you like, oi shit, you're gonna fucking love them. They're like a very, 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 very much needed sound for right now that I think has been lost in hardcore. But yeah, I did their record. I absolutely loved doing their record. We did something that sounded very much old school. And I think it really portrayed them in the light that they needed to be portrayed in. And at first they gave me pushback. They probably won't ever record with me again because I gave them a lot of pushback, told them to go fuck themselves on some shit. But what we got came out the way that it needed to come out. And I'm very, very happy and very, very proud of it. But they're another band coming out of Jersey that's definitely going to do some really, really cool shit. Human Blister is another band that those kids from Life of Deceit are in.
Is that right?
Another band that's really, really fantastic. I mean,
Human Blister.
There's a ton of bands coming out of Jersey right now that are really good. Delusion is another one. A lot of good stuff is coming out of here right now.
It makes me really happy. A guy that was around for the first wave of American hardcore, a guy that was around, you know, when there was, 15, 20 people in the room in 1980, 81. I just love seeing young kids in hardcore bands.
Same.
I love it, man. It's great. It's great.
It reminds me of me.
Yeah, there you go.
At 13 years old, I was the scared kid in the corner that just wanted a family.
Yeah.
And seeing these kids show up and how much they love it, like, I don't think there's a higher compliment than a kid coming up and going, listen, Bayway got me into hardcore. I'm like, that's fucking insane to me, first off. But that's the cool. And I tell them, every single kid, and they'll tell you, just keep coming back. That's all I say. Just keep coming back. We need them to come back.
Is Bayway a hardcore band?
That's a great question. I think we are. We have a DIY ethos. We're very sarcastic. We're based in punk rock style of not giving a fuck about what other people think about us. We have our own style in terms of the way we look and the way we operate. And yeah, I think we're very much DIY. I think we have something to say. I think we have a message. And I think that that's what makes you hardcore. I don't think that hardcore is a sound. I think hardcore is a lifestyle.
Great answer, and really poignant, because I agree with that, because there's always this sort of, you know, they're not hard. This one's not hardcore, and that one is, and this and that, and whatever. And it's like, who the fuck are you, the hardcore police? Who the fuck are you to say what hardcore is? What the fuck do you know? Like,
hardcore is a mindset.
That's right.
You know, when Dog Eat Dog came out with a saxophone, people probably looked a little bit weird at him. But I tell you what, that's a fucking hardcore band. You can't take that from them.
Yeah.
It's who they are.
Yeah. It's like you said, hardcore is like an ethos. It's like an attitude. It's an attitude. Yeah.
It's an attitude. It's a fuck you to the establishment. I'm gonna do my own thing, and whether you like it or not, you can kiss my whole dick, balls, and ass.
There you go.
That's
Jason, yeah. Jason Worcester, you bringing some sauce with you to Baltimore in September, Paisan?
You know, it's funny you should say that. I'm working on jarring up sauce and doing a Bayway Sunday sauce. As we speak, my friend, it's coming. Bayway's got the motherfucking recipe, July 4th.
There you go. Hey, are you still playing guitar in Shattered Realm? And tell us about how that came to be and how that's playing out.
So I wrote a bunch of songs that hardcore is a lifestyle, and it is epic. And you can either embody it or you can forget it and leave it behind. And I won't, because it's given me everything I got, my friends, my family, my wife, my job, my everything. So hardcore is a lifestyle. So Shattered Realm, I wrote a bunch of songs, and they didn't sound like Bayway. They sounded like Shattered Realm. And you know, I had said to Greg, who's now our manager, who sings in Hold My Own, sings for Mongoloids, and Bayway is spreading the gospel of New Jersey across the lands. That's exactly what we're doing, Gutter Christ. But I said to Greg, who's our manager, I said, hey, you know, I have these songs that they're Shattered Realm songs, you know? And he said, well, did you tell Joe? Meaning Joe Hardcore. And I said, no, I didn't fucking tell Joe. You know, what the fuck you mean did I tell Joe? He's like, maybe you should tell him. So I reached out to him. I took a shot, you know, I showed that I had a set of balls, and I said, hey, listen, I wrote a bunch of Shattered Realm songs. I'd like for you to hear them. I'm going to be in Philly this week.
What constitutes a Shattered Realm? Like what constitutes a Shattered Realm song? Why would you feel that this song is like for like what?
It's you know, growing up, Shattered Realm was probably one of my more influential bands, being from New Jersey.
Sure.
All right. They had a sound that was very specific.
And Joe sings now, and Chris Rafalowicz sang back then, and they both sing now, right?
Well, yeah. What's happening now is at This Is Hardcore, which you can get tickets for right now. We're doing the first record, which I got right here. Hold on. We're doing this. We're doing this from start to finish. Okay? So we're going to do this record from start to finish. Joe and Chris will both be on stage singing. There'll be other past members from Shattered Realm who are going to come up, play guitar, play drums on some of the songs. And we're going to do a full set from start to finish of this record as a tribute to the old members, the new members, and the spirit of keeping this band alive and showing what hardcore is really about, which is about bringing these tracks, bringing these songs to the kids that haven't been able to see it live and keeping it alive for the other bands that got to have kids come out to their shows. This is how you get people to come out to the shows and see new bands and get back involved in hardcore. This is how you do it. All right. For you older bands that are having arguments amongst your singers, et cetera, and so forth. If you can put your bullshit to the side for a half hour, maybe just like Biohazard has done, you'll see a great amount of success. I mean, look at what's gone on with that band. So, you know, it's been important to me. Shattered Realm's been important to me since I was a kid. Very influential band. I wrote songs that I thought sounded like Shattered Realm, what I wanted the band to sound like. I presented them to Joe. I told him, hey, I'm going to be in Philly. I got these songs. I want you to hear them. He got in the car. Shout out Bayway Liquors. He got in the car. I played the songs for him, and he grinned ear to ear like a little fucking kid. And he's got these gold fronts, And he looked at me and he said, "These are Shattered Realm songs." And I said, "Yeah, they are." And he said, "I've been waiting for this for a long time." And that started me filling in for the band and eventually me becoming a member of the band. And, and that's where I'm at now. I've joined the band full time. The band does a lot of touring with Bayway. So it's been able to be something that I can actually do. Because, if I'm on the road with Bayway and Shattered Realms also on the road, what's the difference, right?
Right.
So we just did 2 shows out in the UK. We're doing a tour together in August on the West Coast, and we're doing this hardcore together in Philly at the end or at the beginning of August. Which get your tickets for that, and yeah, it's been honestly, it's been an honor to be a part of the band. It's been an honor to be accepted by the OG members of the band, the current members of the band, and also by the kids that fuck with the band. I really wanted to bring the band back, to restore it back to what it once was, and play the songs live the way that I remember hearing them. And it's been really, really awesome to have, the older members of the band be like, listen, songs, maybe some of the guys have said to me, I don't know if the songs ever sounded that good live. And that means a lot. That means a lot, to restore something back to what it once was, or maybe even have it be better, is fantastic. And that's all I hope to do. I really just wanted to keep the spirit of this band alive. To me, the spirit of New Jersey hardcore lives within that band.
Sure.
And not having it there is bullshit, especially when you can do something about it. And I wasn't going to sit on the sidelines anymore and watch it go by. I couldn't.
That's great. And you guys are going out and playing shows together, so that's cool.
Yep, it's been really, really, we've been fortunate to be able to do it. Most of Bayway is now in Shattered Realm, so really,
is that right? Who else is in Shattered Realm?
Well, on the UK tour, it was all of Bayway featuring Joe in Shattered Realm. But Tony, who plays bass in Shattered Realm, and Joe, who is the singer for Shattered Realm, accompany me and Dave, and sort of whoever we can get on guitar at the time, because we're our guitar player, the original guitar player for Bayway, just had a baby, so his availability is a little bit different than everybody else's. So we're just putting it together and trying to get the best lineup forward and make it sound as good as we can.
Hey, Dom, of course, man. Outstanding show today. Insanely relatable to me personally. This one inspired and pierced my musical soul. Thank you both. Well, good.
That feels good.
We're doing something right, Jay.
The Lord's work. The Lord's work, if you will.
Speaking of which, let me take a quick sponsor break. Shout out a couple sponsors, and let's come back and we'll take some questions from around the world.
Sounds good.
All right. That's right. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. We are sponsored by blah, 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 and Candle Witch Co. Candle Witch Co. is a female-owned entrepreneur business based out of Connecticut. Owner Rachel King Keys handcrafts soy wax candles set with intentions for your sanctuaries. She has accomplished a life goal dream since beauty school, debuting her artist showcase Hotties and Hellions that features live bands, burlesque, sideshow acts, vendors, food trucks, and this year, a live auction with all proceeds going to the mental health program Punk Rock Saves Lives. Catch her in the tri-state area doing her thing, slinging candles at events, and keep an eye out for her coming to New York in the spring of 2026. You can find her on Etsy and on Instagram at Candle Witch Co. Check it out. 126 Hardcore Clothing is a streetwear brand for restless individuals who don't compromise. They're about being positive, spontaneous, and true to yourself. For years, they experimented with several printing methods and materials and collaborated with a large number of the designers and illustrators, always giving room for fresh perspectives while retaining the hardcore attitude. Get in touch with them. Ramp up your game at www.126clothing.com. Last but certainly not least, the Texas Silver Rush is a jewelry design firm and boutique store located in the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. Yeehaw! They specialize in working with musicians in all music genres to design and create unique one-off pieces, as well as the styling for stage, album covers, promo photos, and social media exposure. Their client list includes Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Greg Riley, Ringo Starr, and of course, Agnostic Front. Information and online sales are being taken at their Facebook and Instagram page, and of course, www.thetexassilverrush.com. Want to mention some events coming up, of course, this weekend up in Boston on my birthday. Incendiary Devices playing with Tree, Miracle Blood, Scumbari, Mollusk, and special guests hosted by Tommy O'Deed. We mentioned it before, Sunday, July 13th at our home of the Bowery Electric Free All Ages Sunday Matinee with Theory of Five, Shoot to Five, The Long Wait, Jerry Body, and Thug It. Sunday, August 3rd at the Bowery Electric Free All Ages Sunday Matinee, the final show, Crazy Eddie, along with Brass Knuckle Brigade, the return of Enziguri, Four in the Chamber, and Go to Ments. Yo, this is going down. I'm excited at Pugs outside under the stars, Saturday, July 19th. Stigma, Incendiary Device, Fire is Murder just pulled off the bill, and they are about to be replaced. The Blame, Sling Blades, and Idiot Box. So come on out and hang out with us in Staten Island and see Stigma. Upstage Music Fest. We're coming out to Pennsylvania. We're playing, speaking of E-Town Concrete, we're playing along with Sworn Enemy, Mephistopheles, Brick by Brick, and a couple others. This is going to be great outside. Sunday, August 31st, Demise, Nailed to the Cross, featuring former 25 to Life members, along with Layla from Concrete Ties singing, Cropsy, Get Your Beat Down On, Jackknife Johnny, Concrete Burial, and DJ Sid the Kid Sound System. The Uptown Rumble music exhibit, the Museum of Bronx History presents 24/7 Spies, Rebelmatic, Ake, Deadshot, and Fulano at the Bowery Electric Free All Ages on Sunday, September 14th. Yo, this one still isn't formally announced yet, but we're headlining Bowery Electric on October 12th, Free All Ages with non-residents, No Weapon Overstand with Todd the Kid, formerly of Warzone, and Steel Toe Solution with Travis from Hub City Stompers. We will be out in San Francisco playing Crash Fest with GBH and our friends in Noise on October 18th. Tickets on sale for Agnostic Front at Irving Plaza. 70th birthday for Stigma with Raw Brigade and Violent Way. And then, of course, the Holiday Slamboree with Lori Dawn and friends is Women of the Pit Coat Drive. Are you psyched, Lori?
I am so excited. So excited. Get there early. Worlds of Chaos. Don't miss it.
World of Chaos, Serial Poets, Tree, yes. Butterbrain, and we're doing the My War thing.
Yes. And we will have some treats. We will have treats. Get there early.
Amish donuts, perhaps?
Maybe we'll have some Amish donuts. You never know.
You never know. All right. Thank you. There you go. Hey, questions for our guest, Jayway. Post up now. Go deep. Get weird. Don't be scared. I'm talking to you. Post your questions now. Do not wait. So let's bring Jay back on. Amen.
I think you should have a full segment of Lori in her beautiful accent saying just donuts.
You're not the first one. You're not the first one that has said, let's have Lori on. Just we'll go through the we'll go
just the accent. I think we should just have her pronounce words that we think would sound fantastic.
Coming she said, Lori says stuff. That'll be the name of the
I think this is a money idea. Okay, I think this is a money idea. I think we're on something here.
Yeah. You know, let me try to finesse this. I know there was a minute there where there was some chat of you maybe singing for 25 to Life. I know, that didn't sort of play out, and it seems like, things have worked out for everybody. Any take on that?
Well, I did sing for 25 to Life a couple times.
You're right. You're right. That's right. I'm sorry.
It was an absolute honor to do so. Absolute honor to do so. Beto is a great friend of mine. Warren, the guys, you know what I mean? I love them all. I wasn't anticipating Bayway signing to Trustkill, and I wasn't anticipating what my schedule was going to look like. And I can't talk about all of the things that Bayway has coming up, but I think that once some of these announcements get made within the next couple of weeks, I think everybody will understand why I made the move that I made. Sure. And like, I just, you know, I love Fred. His riffs are legendary. And it got to a point, Drew, where I looked at it and I said, I can't look at these guys and tell them like, I can't come to practice.
Yeah.
Well, I can't be that fucking guy. Like, I didn't want to let these guys that I consider to be OGs and legends in this game, I don't want to let them down. So eventually I had to make a decision. The decision wasn't an easy one to make, but it was what it was, you know, it was what it was. And now we're here.
Well, sometimes less is more, right? I mean, I'd rather do less and put a lot of good energy into those things and make them great than spread myself thin.
I didn't want to let those guys down. And that's really my main thing. I never wanted to be the guy that was like, I can't do this show. I can't practice. I can't. Once it started to become too busy for Bayway, I was just like, I may not be the guy for the job and I have to do something about this instead of letting it go down the road to where they were really depending on me and then fucking them over, which I did not want to do whatsoever.
Absolutely. Question from Jimmy Ferrari. Will Jay ever make a hardcore Italian cookbook? Dude can make meatballs.
Oh, so listen.
How did Jimmy Ferrari? How does Jimmy? Do you bring your cuisine to shows? If so, please reach out. I want to come for some authentic Italian cuisine because that's far. I'm not an Italian kid, so for me that's a real treat. You know.
I understand. I started to cook online. And I think I had a couple of different Instagram posts where people saw me cook my meatballs, make my sauce, make some penne vodka and shit like that. And it sort of just blossomed into this thing with me cooking. The record is called The Recipe. I kept saying Bayway's got the recipe. People kept saying Jayway's got the recipe. And then we wound up selling out that show in Asbury Park. And I did what was called an eat and greet where I had 30 people show up before the show and I made food for everybody.
That is awesome.
So I wanted to do something different. Everybody does the meet and greet where you do the autographs, whatever it was. Yeah, this was 584 tickets sold. Says it right up there at the top. But I wanted to do something different with a meet and greet style thing. So we sold 30 tickets and we had everybody come in. We gave away T-shirts and I made a meal for everybody. Everybody got a Q&A. They listened to the record before it came out. But cooking's become a big part of what I do. So yeah, to be honest with you, Jimmy, I am working on a recipe book. It is going to come out eventually, and a lot of people have asked me for it, and I can't wait to do it. Awesome. My grandmother's sauce recipe is at the center of the insert of our new record because it means, and that is the recipe for me. It's the recipe for my family, and it means a lot. And in Italian culture, that sauce recipe, you know, you hold on to that shit.
Phil Vasquez, Phil Irate says, I need to be part of an eat and greet. I love it, man. Yeah.
I bring Phil to my fucking house. I break bread with Phil in my own fucking dining room.
There you go. Raven asks, sup, Jay? Stoked for the new record on July 4th. How was the show in New Jersey recently? Plus, I'm super stoked for the Toronto show on July 25th.
I can't wait to get back to Toronto. One of our early shows, we did a show in Toronto, and it sold out. It was like the first sellout we ever had, and it was the first time we ever played out of the country. So I love Toronto. I've always loved it as a place to visit as well. So, Raven, I can't wait to get up there. The show in Jersey was surreal.
This is a shot from that show, correct?
Yeah, it was a completely surreal moment. I mean, to be signed to Trustkill, to sell out a show in Asbury Park at a venue like House of Independence meant a lot to us. To be able to do a meet and greet where people came to ask questions and eat my food was an insane experience. And I don't really know that I've processed what the show was like. I've never had a crowd sing the words that loud ever in my life. So it really touched me. Like I get emotional talking about it. It was something that I hope to experience again. You know, I'll say it to you like that. I hope I get a moment like that again on a stage because fuck, man, that one was crazy.
I'm sure you will, man.
I hope so.
The way that things are going. I don't know. This is sort of neither here nor there. We'll try this one. It'd be great to hear what he thinks about people going to hip hop for the money aspect. I'll let you take that. That's for you.
Hey, I mean, listen, here's the thing. I think a lot of people shit on people because they got to make money in this world. And I think as punk rock of an ethos as we all have in hardcore, we exist in capitalism. So right. I think that it's very, very much something that people need to understand that, unfortunately, at the first of the month, they're going to charge you that rent money. And if you don't pay them for the bills, they shut the electric off. So the reality of the situation is if you can get money doing hip hop, go get the fucking money.
Yeah, that makes sense. Have you seen your hardcore trading card?
I have a hardcore trading card?
Yeah, hold on.
No, I have not.
There you go. Boom.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yep.
That's what I'm fucking talking about.
There you
give
go.
Give me the reverse. I got to see the reverse.
Yeah, hold on. Let me hold on. I have it. Give me a second.
Holy shit.
Here is the back of it.
Is this why fucking Beto texted me and asked me what band I was in? This fucking bandit?
It's got to be. I know the kid puts a lot of work. Joshua Hurst does it. And the back is awesome. It says, fun fact, the name Bayway was suggested, made perfect sense for the band made up of these guys. The Bayway is part of Route 439 in New Jersey, and it's the road that connects Elizabeth, New Jersey to where Jay is from, to Linden, New Jersey, where Chris and Dan are from.
This is a beautiful thing. This is a beautiful thing.
And then, personal trivia, in addition to his other bands, Jay also runs Bayway Records and Bayway Studios, where he records, mixes, and masters. He has worked on projects with XL Bully, Drag You Under, Delusion, Pyre Witch, Negative Force, Discontent, Shattered Realm, Curate, Demise, Unchained, Damn, Human Blister, Tear Gas, Odiame, am I pronouncing that right? Odiame, Hog Slammer, Final Resting Place, and many more. Damn, you're busy.
I don't fuck around, baby. You know, when you have to, when it's time to put the work in, you got to put the work in. I absolutely love this. I really, really, truly appreciate it. This is a fantastic thing. And to be able to see it for the first time on the show and have my reaction filmed is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious and awesome. I love that. Thank you so much.
Hey, Josh, reach out to Jay. Hey, shouting out Layla from Concrete Ties and Nailed to the Cross. What's up?
Hey,
looking forward to you guys playing the Bowery in August.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. I can't wait to hear what those Nailed to the Cross songs sound like.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. If you guys need a place to record.
Right.
I'm saying.
There you go.
I know the guys in the band. That's all I'm saying. Like,
is that right? Odiame? Hate in Spanish. Great name.
Odiame. Yes, sir.
Odiame.
Yes.
Hate. Yep. Odiame. All right. That's a good name.
Yeah, they were doing their thing for a while. The band has broken up. XL Bully is the offshoot or some of the offshoot of that.
I see.
And I believe they have a new band called Heavy Hands that's coming out soon too. Great kids, really, really, really hardworking Latino hardcore kids. And I absolutely love, I mean, I've had the pleasure of working with them and so many different projects that they've done. They've been great supporters of Bayway, great supporters of the New Jersey hardcore scene, and fantastic people overall.
Right on. What hopes and dreams for the future?
You know, I'll be honest with you, there's going to be a couple of announcements that are going to be made within the next couple of weeks that I think really sum up what my hopes and dreams as a kid actually were. I'm going on tour with Madball in September. You know, that's what the fuck do you say? You know, what else do you say? I'm doing the Madball run. We're on tour basically from September until January. It's looking like we're probably going to be in Japan in January. But yeah, I hope to take Bayway around the world. That's my goal. My hopes and dreams are to be the best father that I can possibly be, the best husband that I can possibly be, and the best musician that I can possibly be.
And just once again, everybody keep an eye out for the recipe on July 7th?
July 4th.
July 4th.
Yes, sir.
There you go. on July 4th.
Fireworks on the record, fireworks in the sky, all of that shit.
Let's do a couple more questions while we're at it.
Sure.
Cheeky from Demise. I came in late. Gravy or sauce?
100% it's sauce. Cheeky, I fucking love you. And I wish you were here right now to smile at me because your smile is fucking infectious. What a great OG of the New York hardcore scene. Fantastic singer, insane vocalist. I mean, recording him was a dream come true. Just a fantastic guy overall. Love you, Cheeky. Thank you, OG. Absolutely.
Cheeky, we can't wait for August 31st when Demise and Nailed to the Cross is playing free all ages Sunday matinee. Scott Earth says sauce for the win.
Sauce for the win. He gets it. See, he gets it. He gets it.
Gutter's asking, will it be available at the show on July 4th?
Yes, all the vinyl will be available at the show on July 4th. The vinyl is actually supposed to ship to me today. So if you pre-order the vinyl at BaywayNJ.com, 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 you can get the vinyl early. I will ship it out to you as soon as I fucking have it. Everything that gets bought on BaywayNJ.com, I ship out myself, completely DIY. Everything gets shipped out behind you. So I don't fuck around with my shipping. If it's in this motherfucking building, it gets shipped to you. And yes, the record will be available at Hellfest, Hellfira, all weekend long. I'm going to try to set up a Bayway Records table and have that available as well. Have a couple of the other releases available. Shout out to Blackest Dawn. Shout out to Life of Deceit. Shout out Shattered Realm. And Gutter, I'll 100% hold you one. And just text me so I know which color you want because we got a couple different colorways.
And where's the July 4th show?
July 4th is at the Williams Center in Rutherford, New Jersey.
What the hell am I doing on July 4th? Let me look.
I don't know, but if you want to get guest listed to the Williams Center, you let me know.
Let me see. July 4th. Friday. Oh, July 4th is a Friday.
You let me know.
Right? Yeah. Wide open. I might have to come down.
Let me know.
Yeah, for sure. That said, anybody you want to shout out? Anybody you want to thank as we head towards the door?
I would love to thank my wife. I'd love to thank my kid, my band members. Gutter wants the rarest one.
Of course.
I would really, really love to thank everybody that's, helped me in music and giving me a start. Shout out to Joe Hardcore. Shout out to Greg and Lucas, our management, our booking. Shout out to, all the New Jersey bands, everybody we've ever played with, everybody that's booked us on a show, all the kids that come out constantly and support everything that we do. All the OGs that have really looked out, Beto is one of them. Joe Hardcore is another. I have a rare situation where I have these guys that I can call, at the drop of a hat, and they'll help me with any situation that I'm going through. And I respect them for it. Shout out to Stickman. Shout out to Ant from E-Town. Shout out to Drew Stone.
Oh, thank you.
You know what I mean? Shout out to Drew Stone. May your birthday be filled with many incredible experiences and a fantastic set.
It will be. And, because people like you are in my life, man, honestly. And I'm grateful for what I have. And I'm just looking forward to the future. And thank you so much for coming on the show. And I am absolutely looking forward to our paths crossing in the future.
I can't wait. And I thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor to be on the show. And would love to do it again sometime whenever you want me. And
we will.
I'll see you soon. I'll see you
soon.
All
right, Jay. Have a good evening. I'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate you.
Take care. Bye-bye. There you have it. Another one in the books. Jayway from Bayway. Wow. What a great guest. What a great guy with an incredible hustle. Respect due. So refreshing to have somebody on with such enthusiasm and such a love for the game and for the genre. Rick Lopez, what's up? What's you doing, Rick? Rick Lopez, formerly of Marauder. Whoa. They're coming out of the woodwork. They're coming out of the woodwork. Yeah, Jayway was great, Jimmy Ferrari. Absolutely, man. Great show and great guest. Yeah. That's what we do. Great shows and great guests. Gutter, absolutely. Yeah, good to see you, buddy. Hey, Rick Lopez, you should come on the show one of these days, man. If you have any memory left from your Marauder days. You know, we did some great stuff back in the day. You know, come up and be a guest one of these days, Rick Lopez. So that said, what else? Hey, like I said, on Saturday, I'm going to be up in Boston. We are playing the Brighton Music Hall. There you go. Come on through. And then we will be back here a week from Sunday with Mantis from Venom and Venom Inc. And if that's not enough Satan for you, a couple shows later, Steve from Deicide is on the show. I love when I posted that thing, the Deicide thing, and someone's like, what does that have to do with New York hardcore? I love when people do that. What does that have to do with New York hardcore? I don't know. Yeah, is that right, Robert Hogg? I enjoyed this one, and happy birthday when it comes. Much love from Scott. Well, thank you. How about that, Gutter? Venom. Yeah. What's up? You coming to New York, Rick? When I get to... This isn't... You don't have to come here to do the show, bro. I don't know if you've noticed, but you could do the show from the comforts of your home. What are you laughing at?
Nothing. I just thought that was funny.
People are like, oh, come when I do it in New York. It's like,
Yep.
come on.
Heading up there soon.
Help. You know what? Yeah, why don't you come over to my fucking...
Just wherever.
My wife will love it. Hey, I got some dude coming over. He's gonna come sit right next to me.
Listen, as long as you have Wi-Fi. As long as you have Wi-Fi.
So there's this thing now called Wi-Fi. And you could do the show from where you are. You don't have to come to New York to do the fucking show with me.
But actually, that's a good guest.
Is that right?
That would be cool. Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
So it's a good show today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was saying beforehand, I saw Bayway for the first time at Black and Blue, and it was like one of those bands where I was just like, wow. You know?
They were good, and you know who I think
wow
Shoot the Five played right after him, right?
I don't know if they played before or after, but that was like a really good day.
Yeah,
as far as like new bands go, that really just knocked you off your feet, you know, when you saw them with the energy.
Absolutely.
And it was funny because, you know, we were all like, oh, he looks like a young Danny, you know, we were all, yeah.
All right.
So, but it was, it was incredible.
We'll see you.
See you Saturday. Yep.
Yeah. You guys going to check in that hotel before you go to the club, or are you going to?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna drive up first, you know, and just tell them at least, you know, because I don't know how late we're gonna be out. I don't want to lose my room. So yeah, I'm just gonna at least tell them, you know, that
everyone loves Lori. Does she have a band?
I don't. I have a lot of instruments here that I'm just tootling around over here.
You got to get it. You know what? You should.
The only thing on Cape Cod is like yacht rock, which I'm not opposed to. Some of those bass lines slam, you know.
You know who should sing for your band? Elisa.
Oh yeah.
Like, but only after she's fucking inebriated. Wow. Fuck this place up now.
She could do it sober.
Fuck this place up now.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Anyway.
All right. I'll see you in a couple days.
Okay. Yes. See you in a couple of days. It's going to be fun.
All right. And that concludes our session today. Folks, this was the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. And until next time, do good things. And good things will come.
Conditioned by indoctrination, conditioned by victim of the digital age, a 21st century casualty.